we're so excited to talk to you about this movie because it's so much fun, and it reminds me a lot of the '80s movies to grow up with. They're just so cool and then practical and fun, and a lot of movies. As you know, you grow up thinking, "Oh, it'd be great to be in movies," and then you get on set and you're like, "Oh, this isn't as fun." But you looked like you guys actually had fun making this, right?
We
We
had a
salute
blast
you.
making this.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the hardest things we've done, but at the end of the day, you're just like, man, that was brutal, but it was so rewarding kind of
Mhm.
thing. So definitely went through some punishment for this film.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it, but with this, you always have fun memories that come with making a film like this. So for each of you, what was a great memory from the set where you're just kind of looking around, going, "All right, this is kind of how we envision this."
Oh, mine would be, I think we were in Alberta and we're filming on a lake. And so there's this big fight scene on this big glass lake. It was minus 30, 70-kilometer-hour winds, freezing cold. And like we flew everyone out there and then we had people drop out of doing it. But some of the mornings it was minus 30 when the wind chill, 70-kilometer-hour winds, it really kicked it up there. And we stepped on the lake and we're like, oh, we can't get through this. But there was one day in the middle of filming and only a handful of us went out. And out of nowhere, it was like the temperature went to like 6 degrees. There was no wind, and it was hot and sunny. And we're on this lake, and it was Matt and I, because one of the other people had to back out because they just couldn't take the cold. And that day was actually a gorgeous day, and we were sweating on this lake. And I was just like, "This is crazy!" Like
Mountains all around us. We're doing the fight choreography.
it was like minus 30, not even like eight hours ago, and all of a sudden it just went up in temperature. And so we're doing this big fight scene, and we're like, it was a pretty surreal moment. Like as kids, we'd always do little sword fights, and then here we are in between these mountains on a glass lake, just like, doing that, only as adults.
That's so cool. Never for you, Kristen.
Yeah, I think that the week we spent in Alberta filming out there was, something I'll remember forever. We had an Airbnb all together. There was just like a select few of us that went out. And we'd wake up super early, like 4 in the morning, get all our armor on, do like, our makeup, whatever we had to do. My sister was doing my hair. She was our head of wardrobe, but also playing, everyone had a few hats they were wearing in this film, but and then we drive about an hour to the location. And then, along the way, we might see some like cool wildlife. And then the sun would rise and we're filming on these like this frozen lake in front and, surrounded by the mountains. And it was just like a surreal, experience. And even though it was really challenging and freezing cold, I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, it sounds like it's kind of a family affair thing, and you've got your friends and your family all together, and you're making this work, and it kind of does remind you of when you were kids and you're just trying to make your own little movies and everything. But yet, fast forward, here you are making movies, and that's truly like a kid's dream come true, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I do think that's the secret sauce to what we do is that we're bringing out people that we just want to hang out with, and our sets are very much we're just hanging out with our friends, our family, and just living that dream that we had as kids. And we're just a little bit better, a little bit more proficient at making things make sense. But it is great. And then also one of the reasons that we brought Darcy, Kristen's sister, out is because it's just Jeremy and I fighting on set as brothers. I'm like, we need to bring someone else on set.
We need
So
some more family
they definitely
dynamic.
had some fights going down in Alberta, which is it's great. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for each of you, of course, doing this looks like the most fun job in the world. It can be challenging for sure. But what kind of advice would each of you give to somebody that wants to follow in your footsteps and you make great films with their friends?
Hmm. You definitely have to get like a group of people who are committed to see it through. Like we have a lot of friends who want to make movies, but it's just like, it's fun. It's fun when it's done, but a lot of people don't realize like it's a lot of hard work to do it. It's rewarding. Every day you finish up, you're just like, man, that was tough, but it's like, I'm glad we did that. And I don't think a lot of people are willing to see it through. So that'd be the first thing. If you want to make films, you get a group of people who are willing to like work hard together and actually finish it together.
I think just to tag on to that, we filmed this movie over weekends, so it's kind of like we really do take the model. You're hanging out with your best friends, making some really cool shit. You don't, most of our weekends, we don't remember what we did with it. So I'm like, just take that time and follow your dreams. It doesn't matter if it's a movie or if it's music or if it's writing. Just, I have taken my weekends and just this is when I go after my dream. We all have 9 to 5s. Like we're not the place that we can make movies full time. And so this is like our escape, making these fantasy movies and getting to hang out with our friends and making stuff, making memories that we'll never forget. And you can never control what the movie, like the end product, you don't know what's going to happen if it's going to get released, but just having fun on set and enjoying that journey is, I think, really shows up on screen and makes something magical.
Mm-hmm. Did you say the same thing, Kristen?
Yeah, definitely. And just to add on to that, kind of, there's always things you could be doing, or, life is always busy and, not now, I'll do it later kind of thing, but it's, not passing up those opportunities and, like Matt said, you don't know what the end result will be, but really just like kind of giving it your all, in the moment and being present with it and yeah, enjoying it and having fun.
Mm-hmm. And hey, sometimes, Matt, you get your own action figure, right?
Sometimes.
I gotta ask you what that's like because I'll never have one. Actually, maybe we'll.
No, I love having a little action figure. He's on the shelf right over there.
Nice.
It's my goal is to make movies with more action figures. So hopefully we can get a Bodhi and Avalon action figure. So
Yeah, I love it. Now, of course, part of this we talk about on the show. My co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, win the Hall of Fame, and so we love to ask people their Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. I'm so curious to know what that is for each of you because it might be this, might be something else, but
well, you're assuming it's worked out. What if we're still in the shit right now?
Yeah, I feel like our Hail Mary is every time we go to start another film where we're just like, okay, like we have our 9 to 5s, we all got our own jobs and stuff we're doing, and eventually we're like, okay, like life's not getting any you're not getting any more time. We're just like, okay, we're gonna start doing this. Like when we started Night's War, like I think a month before it, we're like, are we gonna do this? Like it was quite the overwhelming task we're about to like take on. And we're just like, I remember a month before sitting down with Matt, I'm like, we'd already done a bit of rehearsals and stuff for it, but I was like, are we really?
Like this is really big. Like
We're
it's
going in
really
over our
big.
heads. It's the biggest project we've done. Like, once we start, we have to see it through. Like, is this going to be doable?
So I don't know if we have our for me, I don't have that Hail Mary moment. I think really for us, it's just like we have to just keep stepping in the ring and making cool stuff, and you're gonna get hit, you're gonna get beat up. But I think just we're at the stage where we just have to just keep showing up. I hope that this is that people love this and that they see the work that went into it and it resounds with them. But at the same time, you just got to keep going and you just got to keep stepping in. So,
and what would you say, Kristen?
I think I would say I reached out to Matt and Jeremy a few years ago when we did our first film together, and I auditioned for. It was actually a different film altogether than the one we ended up shooting. But yeah, I think that would probably be my Hail Mary moment, just meeting them and like getting to know the types of, the genuine, guys that they are, and then their passion for film, and then, them continuing to want to work with me and like choose me along the way has been really, really special.
No, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for making a fun film. Please keep making more of these. We need them. And, yeah, and we'll look forward to talking to each of you again very, very soon.
thanks so much, Paul.
Appreciate that.
Thanks
Thanks.
so much.